Alright guys, once again welcome to the Creative Diet. It's the Apex Man here, and today we're going to be designing the logo in coreldraw. We're going to be designing this logo right here in coreldraw. So let's get into it. Alright, so first I'm going to create this document. I'm working with an A4 landscape layout, page layout, and I've already placed a background rectangle, which I'm just going to give a white fill, and then I'll right click and just lock this so that the background doesn't move. So from time to time I'll just be clicking here at this tab here to check the original file to see sorry excuse me, just to be sure that I'm designing according to specifications. Okay, so let's get into it. First I'm going to click on my rectangle tool. I would click on this and drag, just create a rectangle of this proportion. Now I'm just going to change this to inches. Now to change to inches, what I did was I clicked on the outside of my drawing page. Okay, I just clicked on this darker side here, that's outside my drawing page, to activate the document properties. All right, so I changed drawing units to inches from millimeters. All right, because if the object is selected, you will not be able to change the units. Okay, so you have to click outside here and then change the units. All right, so now that that is done, next thing I'm going to do is I'll come to my rectangle tool again, click on it, hold my control key and just drag. Right, I'll just leave this at these proportions. Okay, now the proportions I'm working with for now, this rectangle is the measurement of this rectangle is, okay, let me just adjust this a little bit more. The measurement of this rectangle is 8.986 by 2.003. All right, so this rectangle, this square rather, this perfect square here is 2.21. all right, 2.21 height, 2.21 inches height, and 2.21 inches width. All right, remember I drew this perfect square by holding my control key and dragging down. Okay, let me just redo that. Click on the rectangle to hold your control key and just drag down. Okay, when you hold your control key and drag down, you see it gives you a perfect square. All right, so I'll come back here to my pick tool, and then I'll change the angle of rotation to 45 degrees. Then I'll press enter. All right, now that I've done that, I'll hold my shift key down and then click on the rectangle, this landscape rectangle, and then I would come to my align and distribute properties, click on that and make sure it's active. It pops open. Okay, before it was open down before in my tab, but I just double clicked it to reactivate it. Okay, so now I'll click on it and then the align and distribute panel opens. Okay, so I'm just going to select align left and then align top. Okay, so now that this is done, I will just drag down and make sure that there is a proper intersection on these corners. Just drag it down. Okay, still satisfied with this? Let me just right click and align left. Okay, so both of them are aligned. The left, rather my square is aligned to the left of the rectangle. So I'll make another copy of this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then I'll hold my shift key again, and with the second copy highlighted, click on the rectangle again. Alright, so I'll come to my align and distribute panel again, which is already open there, and then I'll just click align right. Okay, so now we have this alignment. Okay, so with this alignment made here, I will come to my smart fill tool. Alright, select my smart fill tool. Now for those of us that may be using Corel X7, smart fill tool will be nested under the interactive fill tool. Okay, nested under the interactive fill tool. And if your toolbox is not open, or if your toolbox, in your coreldraw 2020 does not open like this with the full toolbar open, you can come here and click on this plus. Okay, when you click on that plus icon, you see it pops up different tools that you can add. Take for instance, my zoom tool was not active before, so when I checked it, it comes up. Okay, so if I check on it now, it comes up there. Alright, so you can do that, or you can come here on this arrow and also click to show you the remaining tools that are not visible. Alright, so now let me get back to it. So I said we come to your smart fill tool. Okay, click on the smart fill tool, and then you see these spaces where the intersection has been formed. I'll just come in and click and click here. So now I have this rectangle sort of shape formed. Alright, so I deleted those ones, I don't need them. I'll just highlight everything here, and then I would weld. Okay, so now that I have this shape welded together, next thing I'll do is that I'll reduce it a bit. Alright, okay, and then the next thing, I'll come to the angle of rotation and change this to 45 degrees. And I'll make a copy of this, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. Now come to mirror horizontally, and then click that. And when I've done that, I'll click and hold on this shape. Alright, just left click and hold. Just press down with your mouse or with your pen on your tab. Hold Control key and drag to the right. Now while we are holding Control key, so it gives us a straight line movement. Alright, now a way we can be sure that we are moving in a straight line is that we can come to view and just activate the and then rather uncheck this snap off. Okay, come to view again, and then select snap tool, and then make sure we are snapping to objects. Okay, this snap off makes it prevents us from having direct should I say alignment now to objects. Okay, so I will just check my alignment guides on and check my dynamic guides on too. Alright, so if I Ctrl+Z for example now, and I click and hold my Control key down, you see some guides begin to show up. Okay, so when it shows edge, I'll release my mouse. Okay, so next thing I'll do is I'll highlight both of these, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and then I'll flip this vertically. And when I flip this vertically, I'll hold my Control key again, click and hold, and then just drag down. Okay, so when it gets to this point, I can release it. All right, so you can see that I have a similar shape structure here. All right, so next thing I'll do, I'll come to this top left shape, click on it, and then come to my contour tool. Contour tool in this particular version of coreldraw is nested under the blend tool. So I'll click on my contour tool. Then here in these options here, you have to center, you have inside contour, you have outside contour. So I'm just going to select the outside contour option. Alright, so when I click that, you see some a contour shape like an extra shape. The shape becomes extended. See, it gives it a form of like a border on the outside. So I'm just going to come here on this contour offset and just still adjust the size a bit. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with this size. So reduce that a bit. Alright, so I'm satisfied with this size. So I'll come here and click my pick tool selected again. I'll click on the next shape on the top right and click on my contour tool. When I click on my contour tool and come to the outside contour and click it, you see it just automatically gives it the same contour size that I used for the last shape. Alright, so I can use the contour tool now to click this shape at the bottom left and also select my outside contour again, and you see it gives it that same contour size. Okay, and then using my contour tool again, I'll click on this bottom right and select outside contour, and again it gives it that same shape or that same size. All right, so I'll come back to my pick tool, and then this shape here, with this shape active, I'll right click on my contour, that's the green shape, and then select break contour part. Now this is very important. Make sure that you are selecting on the green color or whatever color your contour is. Make sure you are selecting on the wide thick part. That's the one that's taking the shape. All right. So I'll right click this and select break contour group apart. Same here. I'll click on the contour. Right. Make sure you click on the contour, not the central object. Now click on the contour itself, the one that has the color different from the blue. Right, so you right click this and then select break contour apart. The shortcut for this is Ctrl K, so I'm just going to quickly do this with shortcut. Okay, and then next thing I'll do is I'll come to this contour here, the contour of the top right shape. All right, the contour of my top right shape. Now with that contour selected, first of all, let me look at this. Okay, so this is what I'm actually trying to create, this spacing here. This is what I'm actually trying to create. So I'll come here with the contour of the top right shape active, click here, and then trim. All right, now I did a multi selection by holding my shift key. Okay, so I clicked on the contour shape, held my shift key down, and then clicked on the top left blue shape. All right, so with that done, I'll select my trim option here because the shaping option is now active. All right, so I'll do the same thing for the rest shapes here, but then I'm doing it to conform to the original logo. All right, so next I'll do is I'll come to my bottom right contour, which is the bottom right green shape, click on it, hold my shift key and select the top right blue shape here at the top. So I'll click that. So then I'll select trim at the top here. All right, so it may appear as if nothing is happening, but just follow me, and then at the end you will see what we've created. All right, so next you need to come here to just make sure that I'm following the pattern. All right, so now if you notice something, for this logo here, this bottom left part of the logo is kind of looking like it's overlapping this other one here. So I'm going to make sure that that's what this logo and this side here on my shape looks like. So what I'll do is I'll hold down Shift, alright, and select my contour and the inner shape, that's the blue one at the bottom left. Okay, now with both of these selected, I'll right click and go to Order and then select to front of layer. Okay, so now these ones are now overlapping just the way, it's not looking just the way this logo here is looking like. So I'll come back here, select my contour, click on the bottom, hold down my Shift key, and then click on the bottom right shape, and then select Trim at the top. Okay, so next, what I will do, I'll come here again and click on my green contour at the top left, hold my Shift key and click on the blue inner shape. Okay, why? Because in the order of things in the logo here, this one here is resting on top of the bottom left shape, so I'll set it to that order. Okay, so I'll right click again and select my order option and select the front of layer. All right, so to see what has happened in this shape here, because we selected Trim, what Trim does is that it deletes a portion of the shape that is lying underneath. Okay, so I'll click on this, my green contour now, and then hold my Shift key and click on this blue at the bottom left. Okay, and then I'll select Trim. Okay, so now I can begin to delete my green contour shapes. So you see now it's beginning to look like the original logo that we created. And then you have a very similar structure like that which was in the logo. Alright, so next I'm going to create the click on my ellipse tool, hold down my Control key again to create a perfect circle. Alright, now I have a perfect circle. Now the next thing, I'm going to align this to the middle of this rectangular shapes here. And the way I'm going to do that is, first thing I'm going to do, okay, I'll click on this shape, hold my Shift key, and then make a multiple selection of these shapes around this rectangle, these four rectangles that are looking like they are rotating. All right, so when I've done a multiple selection of those shapes, I'll take Ctrl G on my keyboard to group them as one single object. So now this is one single entity now. Okay, so now I'm going to centralize. Obviously you see the circle is not centralized properly, right? So now I'm going to centralize this circle here, and the way I'll do that is that I'll hold my Shift key and click on the group, and then I'll just press C and E on my keyboard. Now the shortcut, the procedure, one procedure to centralize is that I can come to my Align and Distribute panel again, and then I'll now take these options, Align Center horizontally. See what happens, it moves to the center horizontally. Okay, and then Align Center vertically. To see, it now forms a perfectly centralized arrangement. Okay, so using my alignment guides, you can see that my alignment guides are showing me that this is perfectly centered. Okay, so now we have this. So now let's apply colors to our shape. Let's apply colors to our shape. Okay, so next what I will do is I'll come to my interactive fill tool. Shortcut for the interactive fill tool is G on the keyboard. Okay, let's add G on the keyboard. So here I have, I'm going to try and mimic this color scheme here. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I'll click on my shape here. Okay, sorry, I forgot to ungroup my shape. Okay, so before I apply these colors, I'm going to ungroup. So I'll click on ungroup objects. Okay, now I'll come back here, click on this shape at the top. Then I'll come select my interactive fill tool, click and drag at this top here. And then I'll click on this color, this square color box here. Right, when I click on that, it becomes active. So I'll scroll down and select on my color palette a dark purple shade. So here, this is plum. All right, this is plum. So this plum color shade is not as dark as I want it to be. So I'll select. I want to activate more variable color shades, darker or lighter or more saturated color shades of this particular option. So what to get that to activate, what I will do is I'll left click and hold on that color option, and then you see different color variations of this shade will come up for me. So I'll just click this one here on the second row extreme right. Okay, so when I click that, you see the color shade comes up, and then I'll click on the bottom color bottom square color, which is currently having the white color option. And then I'll check for a color shade that fits this side. Okay, so let me see how this will look. No, this one is not looking like color shade. So I'll scroll back up. Then let me see if I select purple. Okay, not exactly. So what I'll do now is I'll click on the purple, hold and click on the purple. Then let me see if I can get something much similar. Okay, click and hold again. Okay. Not exactly giving me the color vibe I want. So I think what I'll do is I'll come here. Okay, I think this is more of the color shade I need. Okay, I think this is a bit closer. Alright, so now what I'll do is I'll make a color and make a copy of this color, alright, on this shape here. So now to repeat this color adjustment I made, I'll take Ctrl R on my keyboard, and take Ctrl R on your keyboard, or you can say, sorry, I'm having a keyboard malfunction here. But to replicate the same color, I can come to edit, right, and say repeat fill. Or another way of doing it is I can come to edit and I can say copy properties from. Okay, so when I click copy properties from, it will open up this dialog box for me to check which properties I want to copy. So I'll come here, I'll select fill and then click OK. Now when I do, you see a small arrow comes up. So I'll just point the arrow towards this shape and click it. You see it makes the copy of this same color shade or gradient fill on this shape here. So now I'll adjust this color fill to fit what I have here. Okay, I'll I'll click G on my keyboard, or I'll just click on my interactive fill tool and then click on this top node, this top color node, this square here, just adjust like this. Take this handle, adjust it. Okay, so I think this is sufficient. Okay, so I'll click on this and then I'll also come to edit and just take repeat fill and then just repeat the procedure. Okay, now I repeated the procedure. I'll click here, click on my edit and then select repeat fill again. Then check color. Okay, okay, so now I think I'm satisfied with this. Okay, so next, now I'll apply the color adjustment to the circle at the middle of the logo. All right, so with the circle highlighted, I'll also select my interactive fill tool again, click on it and drag down. So next, what I'll do is I'll change the tool from linear to elliptical. Right, so currently it's on a linear fountain fill, so I'll change this to an elliptical fountain fill, and when I do that, you see how the color adjusts or changes. So I'll just make this adjustment like so, right? Then I'll click at the bottom here and select that dark shade purple that I used before. So I still want it to be darker a bit, so I'll click on this document, on my document palette now. Now you see, okay, just let me point out something here. Now you see in Corel 2020, Corel versions, I think from X7, okay, has two different color palettes. All right, at the bottom right here, I have the document color palette. That is, it shows a selection of shows a display of the colors that you have used in your document so far. All right, that is the one at the bottom left, while the one at the right shows you the color palette, the full color palette, all right, that is available. All right, so I'll come to my document palette, I will click and hold on the dark purple color I chose before, then I'll take it an even darker shade of purple. All right, so with that selected, I'll come now and then I'll look for hot pink, this tropical pink. Okay, let me see how this will look. So I'll click on the tropical pink, click and hold. Okay, click on the tropical pink and hold, and then I'll just drag to this line here. Okay, now make sure you do not release until you release your hand from your mouse, from your pen, on your tab. Make sure you do not release your hand from your mouse until you arrive at this line linking these two colors, and then when you see the plus icon there, you just release. All right, now let me do that once again. I'll zoom in for more clarity. So I clicked on this tropical pink color, held and drag to this line, and then when the plus symbol shows up at the line, I'll just release my hand from the cursor. Okay, so let me see how well that fits my original. Okay, not exactly the color, so I'll click on the middle again, Then I'll check for, I think, hot pink would do it. No, 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 not this. Okay. Let me just try and search for this. Okay, not really. Let me check. Oh, okay. Okay, let me just adjust this a little bit by adding some shades of purple to it. Now what I'll do next is that I'll come here to my neon red, I think. Okay, basically what I'm doing now is that I'm adding a tint to this color shade. And the way I'm adding that tint to the color is that I'm clicking on this color, this pink side now, the middle color bar and color option here. And I held my control key and I came to this deep pink, for instance, and I begin to just click. Okay, I begin to just click. Now, as I'm clicking it, you see the color begins to adjust. Now, what it does is that it's beginning to add that color shade to the shape. Okay, so I'll come to my pick tool and click, and then I'll just highlight my whole object. So I want to remove the outline now. So when I've done that, I'll just scroll up and select and just right click on no fill. And what that does is that it removes the outline. Okay, so now I just finished designing the symbol side of the logo. Alright, so it looks at least somewhat similar to this. Okay, so this is how I designed this logo in CorelDraw. So next we're going to look at how to do text, custom text. Okay, so I just grouped this now by pressing Ctrl G on my keyboard. Alright, now let me recap something again. Now, if for instance I create this shape here and then I give it a color, say I give it blue, alright, and I want to adjust or tint this shade of blue, I can hold my control key and click on this cyan color. Alright, now when I hold my control key and click on this color, notice what happens to the blue. When I hold my control key and click on this color, notice what happens to the blue. It becomes lighter. It begins to gradually take the cyan color shade. Alright, that's what happens. It begins to gradually take that shade. Okay, so that's what I did to adjust the value here in the middle. Alright,